Top security officials in the United States have left their posts following a scathing report about lax security measures at the American mission in the Libyan city of Benghazi. The US ambassador and 3 others were killed when heavily armed men stormed the building in September. The State Department said that its chief of diplomatic security had resigned and 3 other officials had been relieved of their duties.
The September 11th attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. 4 Americans, including Ambassador to Libya Chris Stevens, were killed. An investigation has concluded systemic operational failures at the State Department helped make the attack possible. The report found security was, quote, grossly lacking, leaving the consulate vulnerable.
Frankly, the State Department had not given Benghazi the security, both physical and personnel resources it needed.
But the review upheld the Obama administration's insistence that it had no intelligence predicting an imminent attack. Despite no evidence of willful misconduct, the investigation found several officials at fault.
We did conclude that certain State Department bureau-level senior officials in critical positions of authority and responsibility in Washington demonstrated a lack of leadership and management ability appropriate for senior ranks.
The report also blamed the new Libyan government for what it called a profoundly lacking response to the attack. In a letter to Congress, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton accepted the report's findings and took responsibility for them. The State Department says it's already acted on those findings.
The Pentagon agreed to dispatch hundreds of additional Marines to posts around the world. We asked Congress for funds to hire new diplomatic security personnel and reinforce vulnerable facilities.
The report blamed grossly inadequate security for the attack, which led to the deaths of Ambassador Christopher Stevens and 3 other U.S. officials. Initially attributed to an anti-Islamic film, intelligence later linked the attack to al-Qaeda affiliates.
Despite the Obama administration claiming Benghazi began as a protest.
What happened in Benghazi was, in fact, initially a spontaneous reaction to what had just transpired hours before in Cairo. This was not a pre-planned, premeditated attack.
A new report definitively says that's not true. Quote, the board concluded that there was no protest prior to the attacks. Investigators laid the blame for Benghazi on bureaucracy, missed warning signs, and grossly inadequate security. They interviewed more than 100 people and read through thousands of documents detailing the desperate attempts to save the U.S. ambassador. But the report says consulate workers became desensitized to the threat. The longer a post is exposed to continuing high levels of violence, the more it comes to consider security incidents which might otherwise provoke a reaction as normal. Some suggested a quicker reaction could have helped save the ambassador.
Why couldn't the greatest military in the world respond?
The short answer, they just weren't close enough. Investigators acknowledged that the Pentagon rerouted a surveillance drone over Benghazi and dispatched a quick reaction force from Europe. But bottom line found there wasn't enough time for them to make a difference.